Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in. This is Gloria Lee, the moderator for the show Women of Courage. Wherever you are in the world, I need you to know one thing right now. You are amazing. I know you might be upset. I know you might be hurting. And I know you might be frustrated. I know because all of these things happened to me. I was homeless for 2 years, and all I had was a computer, my son, and a car. I want you to know you still have a purpose in life, and it is my job to help you believe that again. Do you want to believe? Can you see that the divorce was not meant to take you out? Can you believe that the lost house and the lost job is a setup for something greater? By the end of this broadcast, you'll be injected with so much that you cannot help but believe again. And I am going to help you do just that. Are you ready? I got some things I want to share with you. And I will even make suggestions on books and activities that you can implement, which will ultimately bring healing and wholeness to you. If you are ready to be healed, if you're ready to be whole, just jot down the pointers I give and watch your life transform. No matter what happened, no matter whose fault it was, today is a new day, and your time to live and be free is now. Join me in this journey to wholeness. Your time for total healing is now. Today you shall recover. Wholeness, healness, and peacefulness is in the mind. That is where all battles for life end and begin. The Women of Courage show is brought to you by the Women and Children's Restoration Ministries. The Ministries is a reading ministry. We believe the world becomes alive when it is explained through reading. Thus, our presentation to you today. All of our efforts are toward demonstrating that when women work together, they win. Yet women cannot win without knowledge and power. Neither of these abilities can come without reading. Power is the ability to make things happen, to move things, or to bring about a particular event. Knowledge is power and education is power. Without either, a person is ineffective to bring about a particular event. Without violence, power is never given, it is always taken. Our attempt to take power has to be without violence because of our lack of testosterone. Consequently, women must learn how to take power and learn how to manage it without mimicking men. The only way we can accomplish any of this is to gain knowledge through reading. You may think that you are too busy to read, but you need the information that I have accumulated for you. You are an integral part of our effort. We are trying to reach the women who have given up, the adulteress, the whore, the woman who does not believe, the woman who's contemplating suicide, the woman who wakes in the morning hating her husband, the woman who screams at her children, the woman who has lost her home, the woman who has failed at school, or the woman who is bitter over her divorce. I am looking for the betrayed, the adulteress, the whore, and the downtrodden. I am looking for the woman who wants to fight back but does not know how to fight. I want them to know that the battle is not over. Failure is just another way of standing up. I am trying to reach these women because I want to try and save their lives. Now to the video of why you are here. We present the video Notable Black Women. Here is something you need to know. The most prolific readers in the United States are educated black women. That's correct. Educated black women read more books than anyone else in the United States. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Now for my break.
The Women of Courage show broadcasts on WHPR Channel 88.1 FM every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. Please remember, if you're not in your car or near a radio when we broadcast, we can be seen and heard on your computer if you go to TV33WHPR.com. Again, TV33WHPR.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and click on the link WHPR 88.1 FM and listen to the show. We can also be heard on your phone if you download the app WHPR TV Detroit Live. Or you can listen to us on Roku at WHPR TV Detroit Live 88.1 FM. If you miss any of our broadcasts, you can visit our archive and listen to that broadcast on our YouTube channel, Touched by the Light Publishing. If you want to discuss any of the topics of my shows, you can email womenofcourage@murderedvoices@gmail.com. Thank you. And don't forget to visit our website at touchedbythelight.us for a book to read.
Hi there. Are you finding it difficult to overcome the challenges of life? Have you asked yourself why certain unknown operations around your life cause you to fail, for you to hurt yourself and others? Do you know that we fight unknown spiritual and physical battles daily, and you may be fighting the wrong enemy without knowing it? Are you ready to reach the extraordinary and discover who your real enemy is? If your answer is yes, then you are on your path to victory. Know Your Enemy is a book written by Gloria Lee, a great communicator who offers the best effective solutions to differentiate your enemy from a third voice. This book will show you how to take stock of your life and who is in charge of your life. It will help you draw from your greatest disappointments the wisdom and strength you need to channel your thoughts to be a better person. Know Your Enemy was written to help children of life-building skills and productive thinking, help mothers to train their children, and to give exceptional insight to adults on how to respond to situations in a healthy manner without having emotional judgments on themselves. If you desire to change and fulfill your life's focus and purpose, then you need to read the book Know Your Enemy that will educate and develop you. The book can be found at the website touchedbythelight.us. You can read a copy of the first chapter.
For just $13.95, we'll give you a book that will save your life. Not your life alone, but for the entire woman you interact with. Life-Saving Advice is a book by a woman who has seen it all. The 248-page black and white print gives you massive insight to identify potential danger around you. It outlines the characteristics of harmful people likely to put your life at risk. Isn't it life-saving? Hurry now. Go to https://touchedbythelight.us/regular publications instantly and obtain your copy. Making an excuse is easy. The consequences are fussy. In fact, we always find ourselves failing to achieve our goals because we succeed in making excuses. The good news is, the author of What You Must Do to Win has yet another book for you. The Cure You Need for a Change. What You Need to Win. The book title speaks it all. Reading its 276 pages is worth it. Be a courage woman to read and inspire others. Go to https://touchedbythelight.us/regular-publications and get your copy now for only $14.95. Life is at its best when you get to the mountaintop. Nevertheless, at times we lose our way and land in the valley. Adversity comes and shakes us in fear. What do you do at such a time? Where do you get your strength when it's gone? Be Not Defeated in Hard Times is the book you need to overcome such fears and gain back your strength. It's cheap, $10.95 only. To purchase this book, log into https://touchedbythelight.us/regular-publications before it's out of stock. Are you a woman seeking solace? Or are you a woman in need of the comfort of prayers? Or are you one distressed and disturbed? It doesn't matter your niche. The Prayer Jar is a book just for you. It deserves your study table. The author, a fellow woman, writes this book inspirationally to address your prayer needs in every situation. The book does not only bring you closer to God, but it also leads you to a mature, prayerful life. The printing is in black and white. Don't wait. Go to https://touchedbythelight.us/regular-publications to get your copy instantly for $14.95 only. The Prayer Jar, a Christian book for your prayer life.
32 million adults in the United States cannot read. And for most of them, it's not that they lack the ability to learn how. They just have grown up in a system that has not allowed them to flourish. And what I want to talk about today is bringing that power back to our communities. It is 2020. We have the resources around us to gain this knowledge. And it comes down to supporting our brothers and sisters to get them back on track. We need to understand that there is power in new information. We cannot hang on to the same things that have been told to us for the last 10 to 15 years. It is a new day. We have new technology at our fingertips that can help our families and our communities. But we need to be able to understand it, to process it, and to take action on it. For those of you that can read, I challenge you in 2020 to dedicate time to help our communities become better. Reach out, volunteer, and donate to help bring education back to our homes. For those of you that cannot read, all that I ask is for you to reach out for help. There are people around you that are willing to help you reach success. This cannot be about pride or being self-conscious. This has to be about you. We want to help you learn how to read so that you can make the decisions you need in this life. It is 2020. No more excuses on either side. If you can, you need to help. If you can't, you need to ask. We are all here for each other. I am talking about our cities, our communities, and our families. Bring the power of education back home.
The Women and Children's Restoration Ministry is a reading ministry founded on the principle that if one reads, one can manage his or her life successfully. The benefit of reading is enlightenment. Reading brings about self-awareness, and reading teaches one to problem solve, even if the problem is managing one's emotions. We advocate that people read all of their lives. We believe reading opens the door to possibilities and shows a person how to tap into his or her imagination as others have done before them. Reading is also a way out of poverty and ignorance. Poor children are overwhelmed at birth, especially black male children. Since the dissolution of the black family, 85% of black children are raised by women who are poorly trained and ill-suited to be parents. You are ill-suited to be a parent if you refuse to take time to read to your child or read for yourself. You are ill-suited to be a parent when you stick your child in front of a television or video game so he or she will be out of your hair. You are ill-suited to be a parent when you continue to bring non-related males into your home straight from the bar just because the man winked at you. You are ill-suited to be a parent if you teach your daughter that all she has to do in life is to push her buttocks and breasts out to attract a man. And you are surely ill-suited to be a parent when all you think about is walking around, allowing your derriere to flop in the wind, thinking your buttocks is going to attract some man. Our children are surrounded by people living by tradition instead of living by creativity and hope. Black children are not supported at home to read. Black children are not being taught to value reading. There are black homes where there is not one book in the house. The children do not even receive a book for a present. Black children are not being given a chance to stand up and bat because they are being defeated in the crib. Black Americans are not advancing because they do not read. If you can't read, wear it or drink it, many blacks are not interested. How many bookstores are in your neighborhood? How many books have you read this year? How many conversations do you have with people about a book that you read? There is a saying that has been repeated throughout generations. If you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. This saying is disgusting. Lack of knowledge is why black people get duped in business, why black women lack self-esteem and easily participate in sexual sin. Many black people cannot read an insurance policy or a purchase agreement. Our young men cannot receive training because they cannot read. They cannot take an exam for a driver's license because they cannot read. And what do? Nothing. Oh, we talk. Talk is easy. It makes one look intelligent. The telling point is There is no action behind the talking. The lack of self-knowledge is why we sell our bodies, why we think having a big butt makes us attractive. And once we get a clipboard and an ink pen, we think we're better than the next black woman. Reading will stop you from acting a fool on your job. Reading will make you think twice before screwing your best girlfriend's husband. Reading will not only teach you about jealousy, envy, and greed, it will teach you the consequences of these emotions. It is incumbent on us all to do something about this problem, lest we face one of these uneducated men breaking into our homes, because surely violence is associated with the lack of education. Once a child is born, every decision made by the mother affects that child, including the toothpaste that you purchase at the store. I want you to consider reading. Stand up and let God see you working to change.
Do you really want to know why you should purchase the series Women of Courage? You should purchase the series because you will learn something. You will learn something that will save your life. You will learn something that will help you with your family. You will learn something that will help you at work. Think of it this way. What if you could turn your life around by reading a book? Would you read it? What if you could be the woman you imagine yourself to be? Would you try to be that woman? This becomes possible when you read the series Women of Courage. The book serves as inspiration, guidance, motivation, and most of all, as a blueprint for the incredible potential that women have if they want to become doctors, police officers, politicians, authors, firemen, or the chief of your tribe. How about this? Are you trying to decide who you want to be? Maybe Women of Courage can help. Have you considered the life of Bette Davis? She was an American actress. What about Gail A. Cobb? She wanted to be a police officer. How about Martha Lane Collins? Do you know her? She is an American politician who was elected governor of the state of Kentucky. She is the first woman and only woman to date to hold that position. Before you make your final decision as to who you want to be, maybe you should read the series Women of Courage. Women of Courage describes the lives of more than 700 successful women. The books will be a great help to you in deciding who you want to be. Here are a few more questions for you. Are you ready to transform your life? Are you ready to take the important step towards realizing your dreams? Are you ready to take control of your life? Are you ready to join the thousands of women managing their lives for the better after reading the series Women of Courage? Maybe you should purchase the series Women of Courage today and become the woman you've always wanted to be. Let us take another point of view. Are you downcast emotionally and psychologically broken? Do you still find it difficult realizing your deepest life aspiration and fulfilling your dreams of ever becoming that courageous woman you've wanted? Have you ever been treated as lesser being to a man? Do you still wonder why so many women have been abandoned of greater leadership positions, even after their immense contribution? Of a truth, there is no joke that has become so rampant in our civilized world of today. Now is the time to change this great inhumanity with the book title Women of Courage Part 2. No matter your age, status, and color, you can never be deterred to live a self-fulfilled and productive life, breaking every barrier to exceed all expectations, proving to the world that we are full of strength and boldness, avoiding mistakes that most women make, teaches you the right education and job to undertake regardless of age to compete with the male folks. Don't you think this is possible? Of course it is. In Women of Courage, you will learn that day is now. Women of Courage said all the days that you promised yourself change. That day is now. That's right. That day is now. The day that you are going to ride a horse, that day is now. The day that you are going to learn to play the piano, that day is now. The day you learn to fly an airplane, that day is now. The day you learn to play a guitar, that day is now. The day you are going to take a helicopter ride, that day is now. The day you are going mountain climbing, that day is now. The day you learn to ski, that day is now. Keep repeating this phrase to yourself. That day is now. Put a note on your refrigerator. That day is now. Put a note in your car. That day is now. Put a note on your mirror. That day is now. Now, walk into your future with change on your lips. In Women of Courage, you will learn that day is now. The day you learn to ride a horse, that day is now. When you learn to fly a plane, that day is now. The day you lose weight, that day is now. The day you return to school, that day is now. The day you learn to be a pastry chef, that day is now. You have 13 days to make a difference in your life. What are you going to do? In Women of Courage, you learn it's not too late to try something new, to seek your dream. In Women of Courage, you will learn this is the day you fly the plane. This is the day you ride a horse. This is the day you take that helicopter ride. This is the day you go mountain climbing. This is the day you learn to ski. This is the day. That day is right now. This is the day you stop smoking because you're worried your husband is going to leave you. This is the day you stop worrying about being fired and go register at the university. This is the day you stop drinking in your car during your lunch hour. And you quietly leave your hateful husband and the state without telling anyone. This is the day. Act now and change your life. Women of Courage says, let no man or woman tell you that you will never be a nurse, that you will never be a judge, that you will never command a starship, because these people don't know any better. They are speaking from the disaster they made of their lives. They believe you can't do any better with your life than they did with their life. In Women of Courage, you will learn when we work together, we win. In Women of Courage, you will learn if your dreams never came to anything, it's time to revive them. It's time to take a trip to Seattle. In Women of Courage, you will learn women have been called queens for a long time, but the kingdom given them is not worth ruling. Louisa May Alcott. In Women of Courage, you will learn that Betty Davis was born Ruth Elizabeth Davis. She became Betty Davis once she made up her mind that she was going to be a Hollywood star. This and more you can find out in the book of Women of Courage. Don't be discouraged. Yes, you can live a life you want to and be the person you want to. Be a goal-getter. Take this bold step to order and purchase these life-changing books so as to learn the detail of the struggles and limitations women faced before becoming the icons they are today. Then you can avoid mistakes too. I'm going to be honest with you here. There's only one inspirational book which has encouraged me not to be fearful as a woman, but to take a bold but little step to changing my low self-esteem and total life situation positively, so quickly and greatly. My little secret has been the books titled Women of Courage. This book has been so amazing and knowledge-packed. Before now, there hasn't really been a right, perfect time to do the right or perfect thing. Most often than not, I've continued to wait for the right time to have things done, but it always never comes. Not until I got hold of the books, Women of Courage. To gain knowledge and becoming a woman of purpose, only then I was able to create the perfect and right time to grab every opportunity that confronted me. I was strong and determined never to get too comfortable and to stop growing. I was able to use and control my anger and temper for the right course. I became the woman of courage that was not deterred of what people say. I created and took advantage of every opportunity where people saw as limitations. Thanks to the story of many courageous and determined women of history. Interesting, isn't it? The success story of many women who read the book convinced me. Here I am, more refined, courageous, and living the kind of life I have always hoped for. You too can become the woman of courage and purpose everyone would admire, just like me. Let us take another point of view. Are you downcast emotionally and psychologically broken? Do you still find it difficult realizing your deepest life aspiration and fulfilling your dreams of ever becoming that courageous woman you've wanted? Have you ever been treated as lesser being to a man? Do you still wonder why so many women have been abandoned of greater leadership positions, even after their immense contribution? Of a truth, there is no joke that has become so rampant in our civilized world of today. Now is the time to change this great inhumanity with the book title Women of Courage, Part 2. No matter your age, status, and color, you can never be deterred to live a self-fulfilled and productive life, breaking every barrier to exceed all expectations, proving to the world that we are full of strength and boldness, avoiding mistakes that most women make, teaches you the right education and job to undertake regardless of age to compete with the male folks. Don't you think this is possible? Of course it is. In Women of Courage, you will learn that day is now. Women of Courage said all the days that you promised yourself change. That day is now. That's right. That day is now. The day that you are going to ride a horse. That day is now. The day that you are going to learn to play the piano. That day is now. The day you learn to fly an airplane. That day is now. The day you learn to play a guitar. That day is now. The day you are going to take a helicopter ride. That day is now. The day you are going mountain climbing. That day is now. The day you learn to ski. That day is now. Keep repeating this phrase to yourself. That day is now. Put a note on your refrigerator. That day is now. Put a note in your car. That day is now. Put a note on your mirror. That day is now. Now, walk into your future with change on your lips. In Women of Courage, you will learn that day is now. The day you learn to ride a horse, that day is now. When you learn to fly a plane, that day is now. The day you lose weight, that day is now. The day you return to school, that day is now. The day you learn to be a pastry chef, that day is now. You have 13 days to make a difference in your life. What are you going to do? In Women of Courage, you learn it's not too late to try something new, to seek your dream. In Women of Courage, you will learn this is the day you fly the plane. This is the day you ride a horse. This is the day you take that helicopter ride. This is the day you go mountain climbing. This is the day you learn to ski. This is the day. That day is right now. This is the day you stop smoking because you're worried your husband is going to leave you. This is the day you stop worrying about being fired and go register at the university. This is the day you stop drinking in your car during your lunch hour. And you quietly leave your hateful husband and the state without telling anyone. This is the day. Act now and change your life. Women of Courage says, let no man or woman tell you that you will never be a nurse, that you will never be a judge, that you will never command a starship, because these people don't know any better. They are speaking from the disaster they made of their lives. They believe you can't do any better with your life than they did with their life. In Women of Courage, you will learn when we work together, we win. In Women of Courage, you will learn if your dreams never came to anything, it's time to revive them. It's time to take a trip to Seattle. In Women of Courage, you will learn women have been called queens for a long time, but the kingdom given them is not worth ruling. Louisa May Alcott. In Women of Courage, you will learn that Betty Davis was born Ruth Elizabeth Davis. She became Betty Davis once she made up her mind that she was going to be a Hollywood star. This and more you can find out in the book of Women of Courage. Don't be discouraged. Yes, you can live a life you want to and be the person you want to. Be a goal-getter. Take this bold step to order and purchase these life-changing books so as to learn the detail of the struggles and limitations women faced before becoming the icons they are today. Then you can avoid mistakes too. I'm going to be honest with you here. There's only one inspirational book which has encouraged me not to be fearful as a woman, but to take a bold but little step to changing my low self-esteem and total life situation positively, so quickly and greatly. My little secret has been the books titled Women of Courage. This book has been so amazing and knowledge-packed. Before now, there hasn't really been a right, perfect time to do the right or perfect thing. Most often than not, I've continued to wait for the right time to have things done, but it always never comes. Not until I got hold of the books, Women of Courage. To gain knowledge and becoming a woman of purpose, only then I was able to create the perfect and right time to grab every opportunity that confronted me. I was strong and determined never to get too comfortable and to stop growing. I was able to use and control my anger and temper for the right course. I became the woman of courage that was not deterred of what people say. I created and took advantage of every opportunity where people saw as limitations. Thanks to the story of many courageous and determined women of history. Interesting, isn't it? The success story of many women who read the book convinced me. Here I am, more refined, courageous, and living the kind of life I have always hoped for. You too can become the woman of courage and purpose everyone would admire, just like me. You have 3 choices. You can sit on your couch and do nothing. You can participate sometime hardly doing anything. Or you can step into the future that you designed. The decision is yours. What are you waiting for? You either stand up for yourself with the chance of winning or failing, or grow old, mean, bitter, and hateful. Driving your children to run from home or move to another state because of your archaic ideas. Time is running out. What are you going to do?
I have discussed reading on several of my shows. I made these discussions because I believe reading is important. I think reading is a fundamental function in life. I truly believe the more one reads, the greater the life a person can potentially have. This is why I'm going to discuss reading again. I do not think I can talk enough about reading. Reading is one of the most important activities that a person can participate in. A world of information is available to you when you read. This information can help you shape and change your life. Reading can instruct you on how to conduct a conversation at an embassy, how to talk to people that you do not know, how to talk to people about everyday subjects that they would enjoy. Reading can help you learn how to fish. Reading can help you learn how to solve math problems. Reading can help you learn a new profession. Reading can help you learn how to eat better, how to meet people, how to select a hobby. The field is endless to what reading can offer you. What I want to do today is to help you to develop a conviction for reading. Let's explore the word conviction. The word conviction is a noun. The word conviction has two meanings. One is a formal declaration that someone is guilty of a criminal offense made by the verdict of a jury or the decision of a judge in a court of law. For example, one can say in a sentence, she had a previous conviction for a similar offense. So in this situation, we know we're talking about someone that is a felon. The second meaning for the word conviction is a firmly held belief or an opinion. This is the meaning that we are going to consider today. Think about a firmly held belief or an opinion. Religion is a firmly held conviction. What we want to do today is to develop a firmly held conviction that reading can change our lives. Therefore, we should read every day. I'm going to try to prove to you today that if you begin a lifetime of reading, these efforts will change your life forever, and that your efforts in reading will impact your family more than you can imagine. Because when your children see you read, they will learn the value of reading from your behavior. Studies have shown that the third grade is the tipping point for future success as a learner and a member of society. Up to the third grade, we learn to read. After the third grade, we read to learn. If this critical skill is not mastered by age 8, people not only fall behind in school, they fall behind in life. And the proof of that is in our prison system. Our prisoners are filled with people who do not know how to read. The men in prisons are fathers, sons, and brothers needed in our homes. The women that are in prison are the mothers and daughters and sisters that are needed in the home. Reading will restore men and women. Reading will restore families, and reading will heal the wounds caused by the inability to read. Reading is not a simple behavior. Reading is intricate in formulating how you want to live your life. When you cannot read, you will not pay your bills correctly. You will not buy the right car. You will not know how to purchase a home. You will not know how to complete your income tax. You will waste money in bars. You will purchase cheap items to bolster your self-esteem. You will live in a poor neighborhood. You will not have a savings account or checking account because you don't know how to manage banking and checking accounts. You will pay more money for goods and services. You will be at the mercy of your fellow man. Your children may or may not go to college. Many of the girls will become pregnant and never graduate from high school. You will suffer with many illnesses brought on because of a poor diet or poor eating habits and tradition. You will become more and more adamant and shun change, all because you do not have the knowledge you need from reading. The Women of Courage show is dedicated to improving the lives of people we serve. This is why we have designed the Wall Project to provide books for people in prison. The purpose of this program is to try and rehabilitate prisoners before they are paroled. We want to change the way that they think, and books can help do that. The reason why so many men and women end up in prison is because they are ill prepared to assume the responsibility of adulthood, and they cannot read. They are illiterate. Because of their illiteracy, they cannot find jobs or express themselves without violence. Once rejected from the job market, they turn to crime to make a living, and they turn to drugs to bolster their self esteem. If the men and the women in prison are not rehabilitated while in prison, when they are paroled, they will not be able to compete in the job market, and they will repeat the same behavior. People will be killed on the streets, homes will be broken into, and elderly women will be murdered in their beds. Now imagine you are a student in school and you have been assigned to give a speech before your class. You've never given a speech before, so what do you do? Do you sit and fret about giving the speech, or do you seek information that will tell you how to give that speech? If you are smart, you will go to the library and ask a librarian if she can give you some good books on how to give a speech. Whether you are a student in school or an adult at work or in your community, there are times in our lives when we are asked or told to give a speech. There is no way out of it. No matter how you feel about it, you have the assignment and you have to do it. This probably wouldn't be a problem except for the fact that public speaking is the number one fear of most people. However you feel about doing this task, reading a book on how to give a speech can be life changing. Reading a book about giving a speech that can make your task easier and your life easier, more comfortable, and less stressful if you follow the experience of the author. To seek the advice of a librarian, you learn that reading can help you out of your problem, that reading can give you the solution to some of the problems that you are experiencing in life. Now, here is another example of the consequences of reading. Imagine it is around 1938 or 1939 in Germany. A book was written that changed the lives of 80 million people. Let me say this again. There was a book written in Germany that ended up changing the lives of 80 million people. A man in Germany wrote a book in 1937. The book he wrote changed the lives of millions of people all around the world, every ethnic group. The man's name was General Heinz Wilhelm, last name spelled Guderian. He was a military theorist. The title of the book that he wrote was Achtung. I would say that it's translated as the word attention. Now, the book was not a bestseller, but it caught the attention of one man in Germany. That man was Hitler. Hitler was just coming to power in Germany, and he had made up his mind that he wanted to invade Poland and Czechoslovakia, and he was trying to figure out how he could do it successfully. And this book gave him the idea of how to conquer these two countries. What a book for Hitler to read. Hitler learned to use the airplane for artillery. The book also gave Hitler the idea of how to use tanks, how to keep tanks that were in constant communication with one another via a radio. This had never been done in warfare. Although France had the superior tank, the tanks were not managed the way that Hitler decided to manage them. Hitler developed the Panzer unit as a superior fighting force, and he did this by studying the attack techniques described in the book. The information written in the book by this general, changed military history forever. If Hitler had not read this book, the course of human history would have been much, much different. Think of all the changes in the world that have taken place because some man or woman read a particular book that spurred them on to invent a new way of doing something, or a new invention like the wash machine or the elevator or the fire hydrant. So far, we have discussed how reading affects people in their daily lives, how reading affects people that commit crimes, and how reading affects people experiencing a social upheaval. Now we need to decide how reading is going to affect you.
You must read. The lives of your children and the survival of your family depend on what you know and what you do not know. You cannot continue to conduct your life making life-changing decisions based on what you learned 10, 20, or 30 years ago. You must obtain new information through reading. You cannot depend upon talk radio or conversations with your friends to obtain new information. You must begin reading for your survival. The world has changed. You are behind. Admit it. Now change. Whether you like reading is not important. What is important is that you must do more with your life. You say you are a good mother, but are you? If you are not reading, taking in new information to incorporate into your life to become a new person, then you are not a good mother. Why? Because children read when they see their parents read. Children mimic their parents because of their parents' example. Your children need to see you read. Your child will learn to value what you value. If you're not taking in new information, what makes you think your children are growing intellectually? It is not nice to be told you may not be a good mother because you are not reading. But it is not time to be nice. It is time for Black people to begin reading in earnest. Nothing is more important than reading. Nothing. Books should be everywhere in your home and car. Your children should be encouraged to read every day and not watch television. Their time is too valuable to be wasted watching mind-numbing shows or playing video games. You should have your child tested to make certain he or she can read competently. Reading competently means your child can not only tell you what he or she has read, your child can explain what he or she has read in writing. If your child cannot read, he or she has no time for TV. You must stop getting your nails done, purchasing wigs, or $100 purses, and find your child a tutor. If your child cannot read, the only thing you should be doing with your money is paying for a tutor. We are inventive and we are creative. All we need is to catch up with technology, which we can only do through reading. Dear listeners, help us save a life. Stop breast cancer from taking lives. Will you assist us in putting the booklet, Black Women and Breast Cancer, into the hands of 1 million people? Please go to the website touchedbythelight.us and download the booklet, Black Women and Breast Cancer. Then email this booklet to 5 family members and friends, asking them to email the booklet to 5 of their friends. We're trying to reach 1 million women with this information to save lives. The death of one woman to breast cancer from our community is one woman too many. We thank you for your support.
Anything that you want in this life can be obtained. You just need to believe. Believe in yourself. You are strong. You are beautiful. You are resilient. You are what we call the women of courage. And your time is now. There are no victims in this life. So I'm asking you, are you ready to make a change? Are you ready to fight for what you want? Are you ready to fight for your dreams? If you are, it starts now. This is the Women of Courage.
Need a publisher? Contact Touched by the Light Publishing Services today. We can help. We can help you write, publish, or promote your book. Get the best book publishing services available. Call 734-786-3233. Leave your contact information and we will get back to you. Or email your contact information to yithril11@netzero.net. Get the best proofreading, editing services, book cover and website development, book trailers, and more. Email us at yithril11@netzero.net to get started. We are self-publishing made easy. We empower independent authors. We can help you write, publish, or promote your book. Once you contact us, the hard part is over. Self-publish your work quickly, easily, and affordably today. Call 734-786-3233. Leave contact information or email contact information to yithril11@netzero.net. That's all there is to it. Now you can leave the rest to us. Ready to show the world what you've been working on? Call 734-786-3233 today and let's get started. Join the Women of Courage show and celebrate the achievements of women, all during the year every Friday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday at 8 a.m. here on WHPR TV 33, Channel 88.1 FM, and learn how you too can become a woman of courage. It is important that you know the greatness you can achieve.
Join us at the Women of Courage show every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. for information that will change your life. You can also visit us at our website, touchedbythelight.us, for more information. Thank you. If you do not like your life, then change it. Listen to us when we broadcast, and we can help you find a new way.